getting started here, Monica, tell us what program you attended and that you graduated from.
I was in the veterinary assistant program and I just graduated last year of, I think it was May of 2024. So
Yeah.
I've been almost a year into the vet field, being a vet assistant. I've grown a lot, so I'm really happy about that. I got um, a job out here. I actually was able to move the degree that I had from Oxnard College campus in California, and I'm in Oregon now.
Oh,
So,
neat. What part of
yeah,
Oregon?
I'm in Gresham, Oregon right now.
Okay, so near Vancouver, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm familiar with that area, and we have the
yeah,
Vancouver campus there. So,
yeah.
yeah, awesome. You're one more state up, and you'll be in the state of Washington where I'm at.
Seriously. So
So,
yeah,
are you working in that role still in Oregon now?
yeah, I am.
Oh my
And
goodness. So what
I love
overall
it.
like what inspired you to pursue a career as a vet assistant?
Honestly, I just kind of found it. I was in human medicine for about, I don't know, 7-ish years. And I did like it and I loved it, but I don't know, I kind of wanted something a little bit different. And I found it on Indeed, just that kind of workforce, and I didn't feel ready to just jump right into it. So then afterwards, I Googled what a vet assistant was, and then charter college came up, and that's when I
Okay.
was like, I'll try it. And it was really easy to get into. I didn't have a problem. It was just everything flew by so quickly, and then it was a 10-month course. I said, I could do 10 months. I'm like, that's easy. Hybrid learning. I love that. And I honestly had a good time. I had a great time at that campus. Can't complain. Still am friends with a lot of people from that campus. We keep
Oh,
in touch
that's
with each
cool.
other. Yeah. So we all like talk about how is it going in the vet field, like what have we been learning, and
Yeah.
it's been really nice. I can't complain.
Awesome. Well, I love the fact that you're like staying connected with your peers that were also from the Oxnard location. That's
Mhm.
really special because I
Yeah.
think that's something that a lot of our students and graduates constantly tell me is that one of the biggest things is one, of course, they earned a certificate
Yeah.
or a degree, right? But so that they could get to work, which is of course the most important, but also just the connections that they made, whether, it be with a peer student. Some of them even said that they've stayed connected with their instructors,
Yeah.
or faculty members there on the campus. So I think that's really special as well.
Yeah. That's really nice. I really like that about charter college. And then what was so cool was that I was able to actually transfer my certificate over here.
Yeah, to
And
another
they
state.
actually, yeah. And what was nice is that at charter college, they still had us do like our free fear certification, like completely free, and so many other things that made my resume stand out more, actually. So I was just like, okay, this really helped. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was cool.
I love that. What would you say, just attending charter college, um, and looking back, what advice would you give someone that was considering attending charter college or considering a career as a vet assistant?
I would say definitely just pay attention to a lot of more the laboratory stuff because I feel like I kind of just flew by it and wasn't really paying attention to it as I should have. But luckily in the field, you get more hands on and you get to learn that. But I feel like that perspective of it, um, definitely listen to the instructors. Like, do
Yeah.
that for sure. But actually, like, handling of the animals and like having to do certain like puncturing the IV bags and stuff like that. Like we got to do a lot of hands-on stuff there that I feel like prepared me for where I'm at now. But
Okay.
I feel like the hardest part was the laboratory things, but it got better. I'm
Good.
like, it got better going into my field. And I talked to my friends about that too, and they're like, yeah, we should have listened more. I was like, yeah, we really should have.
So, what's a skill that you learned at Charter while you were going to school, while you were training for a vet assistant that you use every single day at work?
I feel like well, I paid a lot of attention when it came to the surgery stuff because I always said I wanted to be a surgery tech. Like, that's where I wanted to be. And our teachers were like very gung ho on like having to know how to be super sterile. And
Yeah.
that is very important in our field. Like,
Okay.
as much as people don't want to think that it is, like, at first it's fun because the teachers are like, okay, throw this in the doctor's surgery tray, and you have to do it a certain way. And we're all laughing and giggling. But in reality, like, that's how it is. And they're like, nope, like, you gotta make sure not to drop it and make sure to have extras just in case and elbows up and everything like that. And it's just like, you have to know how to be sterile, you know how to scrub correctly. Like, and you learn all of this in school, and it's kind of cool that it did translate into this field because a lot of people that just go into the field without the degree, they feel more lost. And honestly, even though I was new to it, I felt like I kind of knew what I was doing and I knew to expect and what they were talking about, where I
Yeah.
felt like comfortable enough to be like, oh, I know what that is. Like,
Oh, that's good.
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Oh, I could restrain for you properly. Like, I know how to place that catheter. Like, the sense of where veins are or certain parts of the body are for this pet because we went to school for it, and you understand what the doctor or your CVT or RVT are talking about.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
With that being said, and you're just loving your new role. You've
Yeah,
transferred over to Oregon. Do you have like a go-to trick for calming like nervous pets?
I do. Um, Honestly, fear free. Like, if a lot of the students are doing the fear free certification, pay attention to that because a lot of the fear free really helps you in the field. Because once I see those cats being in airplane mode, and I'm just like, oh boy, like they're either about to lunge at me or they're about to do something. It's usually a cat.
Yeah.
Dogs, it's very hard because in the fear free it does say like if they're giving you well eye, like that's already like they could snap at you, and I've noticed it's kind of take it as a grain of salt with that one because some
Yeah.
dogs will just look at you and they really just have an attitude and
Yeah.
they'll be looking at you kind of sideways like don't touch me. But you kind of have to like gauge that. I'm working under a doctor that's kind of a behavioralist, so I'm learning a little bit more about dogs' body language and like
Okay.
go in there, give a treat right away, be their friend, gain their trust that way. Do not go in right away for a touch or, oh my God, look at your dog, it is so cute. Like, don't
Yeah.
start doing all of that as much as we all want to. It's in our human nature.
Right.
Don't do it. Go in
What?
there, give your
Yeah.
treat, like relax, step aside, let the dog come to you. If the animal or dog, any type of animal, even if it's a cat, let them come to you. Then that's like them inviting you. Okay, you're okay to at least touch me for a little bit.
Right.
But I don't push my boundaries. If I can, I will let owners like, hey, you want to place them on the scale? They feel more comfortable with you. Let you do that. And then afterwards, as like owners holding, then I'm like, okay, like looking at the animal, I'm like, let's see if I could get somewhat of a smell of my hand or a pet in there, and if I see that there isn't a snap or a scratch or something like that, I will let my doctor know right away, like, okay, I was able to do this and give them whatever I have to do, my FAS score to them, and they're like, okay, thank you. So
Yeah. Let
they
them know ahead
really
of time.
appreciate, yeah, they really appreciate that. So
Good
gotta
to
work as
know.
a team. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what's the most, and I don't know because everyone's different as to where they work, but what's the most unusual or exotic animal you've worked with?
So this is the cool part. Like I said, I've grown a lot in this field already. I'm about to transfer to another hospital that they actually asked me to join them. I would help them out once in a while as a fill-in
Uh-huh.
assistant, but they really liked me, so they stole me away. And they're like, "Hey, we talked to our district manager, like, let's see if we could get you a part of our team. Like, our team loves you." And this is like an exotic hospital. They work with not only cats and dogs, but any type of creature you could think of, like chickens, snakes, ferrets I've helped already, gerbils, hamsters, like,
Oh, how interesting.
yeah, chickens were interesting too.
I bet. I
Rabbits,
bet.
yeah. So,
Oh my
the
gosh.
most fun that I got to work with was a 9-foot python.
Oh, I don't know if that would be fun.
Not for a lot of people, but I love exotics, so I'm really
Yeah.
happy to do that full transfer. Coming
Neat.
April, I'm
Yeah.
gonna fully transfer with them. So I'm just
Yeah.
helping out my hospital now, but it's sad
I love
because
it.
I've made friends, but they're paying for my CVT schooling out here.
Oh, oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they're paying it full ride.
Neat. So you're
Um,
definitely progressing and advancing in your career.
yeah, and I'm gonna be a full-blown surgery tech for them in the next 6 months.
Oh, congratulations. That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I'm excited.
Speaking of that, where do you see yourself in 5 years in the veterinary field?
Right now, hopefully, um, definitely finishing off the CVT licensing in two
Hmm.
years. Definitely still being as a surgery tech, full time, but also maybe then looking into the management role or some sort of like higher role in this field, because I did start later on in the game. I'm not in my prime 20s, you know.
What are you
So I'm
talking
like,
about? I feel like 40s is like the new 20, so
no,
you're
I
good.
know, but like going down on the floor and like
Right,
wrangling
right,
with these animals, it's a toll to get back up.
right. Yeah, I could totally see
So,
that.
yeah, so definitely either that. I know a lot of the doctors keep pushing me to maybe go for vet. I don't see myself wanting to go to 8 years of schooling. I
Right.
was like,
Agreed.
2 years for CVT is good for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm okay there. But definitely like maybe a management role or something like that.
Okay.
Or I don't know. There's also the sales aspect of it. There's so many branches in this field that I find
Right.
out that I'm just like, huh, that sounds interesting, like later on. But as of
Right.
right now, it's definitely just being in the surgery side of things.
Okay. Um, what's the funniest or cutest pet name or animal name that you've heard of being in your field?
Oh God. I think it was last week. Its name was, oh my gosh, it was a Harry Potter character. I think it was a white rat, and they named it Voldemort. And we
So
were just like,
definitely they're definitely Harry Potter fans.
yeah. And we just started cracking up. there's always, your normal basic names of like Fifi, and we just all start cracking up because
Yeah,
I think there was like one day that we had like three Fifis,
that's funny.
and there were white, fluffy dogs.
That's hilarious. And they were all like the same, like
The
similar, what have you.
same, and we were cracking up. We're like, well, thank God we got a last name, because
Yeah. That's
it's
funny
crazy.
because like so we have two dogs and one of them is he's 15 and he's a Yorkie, so he's really small, but his name is Zeus. And so
I
people
love
are
that.
always expecting like a big, big dog. And then our other dogs, which is a large silver lab,
Yeah.
um, and his name's Blue just because he has that color to him. And so
Hmm.
they're always like, "Are you sure you didn't like mix up their names?" I was like, "I promise." I was like, "If you
I
see him
love
at home, he
that.
thinks he's Zeus." So yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I had that happen once. I didn't like fully read and that's another thing. A lot of students, you need to do this. Do not be me. I did not go in there and I did not read the signalment of the animal at all before I went in the room. I just assumed same thing happened to me. This animal's name was Zeus. And I'm thinking some big giant dog. And all of a sudden, I walk out there, and there was a big giant dog in the lobby. So I'm like looking at the family. Okay, for Zeus, is Zeus here? And they're like making eye contact, and I'm like thinking, why aren't you coming towards me? And then
yeah.
finally, the other family like looks at me, and they're like, oh, here, we're here. And I was like, okay, she's carrying this little dog in her arms. I think it was like a 14-year-old. I think it was a chihuahua.
Yeah.
And I go, Zeus? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. You can call me. And I would just start
Adorable.
cracking up. I had to let them know. I was like, I really thought Zeus was like some 120-pound dog. And
Yeah,
they're like, no, he thinks he is.
exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
so
So I've
awesome.
had that happen. So definitely, students, read your signalment. Listen.
Yeah. Um, if you could go anywhere like in the world to get closer, like real life closeness with animals, where would you want to go? Like what type of animals would you love to, meet personally?
Sloths.
I know it's a hard
That's like
question.
my dream animal. Wherever they are, I would love to just go
Yeah?
hold them, help them. Yes, I just think they're so cute. I hope in when I finish my CVT schooling that when I do work for the exotics, like they'll send me somewhere that there's like either llamas or sloths and I'll be happy.
You're like, I'll be happy. Do you know, like, do people own sloths? Like, is that a thing? Like, can they have, like, I know that some, you can own certain pets.
Yeah.
Llamas would be one of them, but I don't know about sloths.
Um, if they have like certain sanctuaries, they can,
Okay. Okay.
but you gotta have a lot of licensing for that, or you're doing it illegally, and that's not
That, yeah, that's so true, right? Because we
good.
we have seen out in the world or in the news, where somebody is owning a pet that is completely illegal. So
Yeah.
yeah. If your job as a vet assistant was turned into a movie, who would play you?
Huh. That's a good question. I have no idea. I would hope Anne Hathaway because I just like her
I do
as an
too.
actor. I think
Yeah.
she's great, and I feel like that would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Well, and she has the personality. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she has this like
She could like
humorous.
literally morph into anybody that you
Yeah,
need.
I agree. That's a
I would be
good one.
so happy to see her.
Yeah. Um, what's one like pet related myth that you wish you could bust? That you could just be like, no, that is not true.
You ready?
Yeah.
That fleas are only seasonal.
Really? I thought they were like anytime, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So some
So,
people think that?
yeah.
So they're like, it's wintertime, like fleas
They're
should
like,
be
it's
dead or
winter time.
whatever.
There's no fleas. I live in a private community. Okay. That's why your dog has some skin issues going on, but it's okay.
Good to know, right? So people,
Yes.
hello, fleas are not seasonal. It's any time of year.
Yes. And we kind of all make a joke about that because it's either the fleas are seasonal or I live in a private community. We
Honey.
get those a lot, and I just start kind of cracking up, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I also know like another one that's big, and it's not so much here, but in
Mhm.
other parts of the United States. So I've North Dakota is one. I know, you know, camping and stuff, definitely. But ticks,
Yeah.
right? Like ticks get
Yeah.
on animals, which, oh my gosh, and that's just a nightmare in itself.
Yeah. I'm
Goodness.
like, I do not like ticks, but it
Right.
was so funny. We did have a tick come in, and I had to like use my hemostat, and you have to like squeeze the head and like kind of
Yeah.
pry it off.
It's prying it
And
off.
I
Yeah.
and I kept it in a little test tube. We
Yeah.
all named it Stanley. But then afterwards, later on, we found out that Stanley was a female because she was thick and engorged,
Oh,
and those are females. The skinnier ones are
the
male, and they're
male.
smaller.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, okay. So our
Yeah.
mascot Stanley is now Stanlet.
Right, Stanla? Oh my gosh. Have you, now that you've worked in it, in vet assisting for a minute, have you ever had a pet patient that just literally stole your heart? That you were just like, I could totally just take this one home with me. Like it'd be fine.
Yeah, I have. I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
And I will literally parade them around in the back. And I would be like, look how cute they are. And then afterwards, owner's probably like waiting for us because it was like a healthy visit, no concerns. And they're
Yeah.
just like waiting, like, where's my pet? I'm like, I am so sorry. We had to parade him around. It, they were so cute. But we have a
Oh my
few of
gosh.
those that
I bet.
I melt. And
Yeah.
I've gotten close to their owners. So it's like they asked for me specifically. So we then just kind of talk and have like a good visit. And I get to see them like randomly. We do have our little staff pet that comes in. The mom is very obsessed with her dog, and she'll bring us air fresheners of the dog,
Oh my
stickers,
gosh.
everything. So we all have her on our locker, which is
That's so
really
awesome. I
it
love
is.
it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Um, if you could create an animal superpower for animals, what would it be?
For them to talk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're like,
I
I
would
want to know what
love to
they're
just,
saying.
yeah, I really do. Like sometimes I look at my own dogs and I'm like, what are you guys saying? I feel like you understand me, but what are you
Right.
saying?
Yeah. I think all of us, like pet owners, believe that you know what I mean? You say treat, they're running. They know.
Oh, yeah, they
Right?
know. Yep. I swear, I'm like, I always say, my dogs are so smart. I
Yeah.
feel
It's
like
like,
everyone
but we
says
can't
that, but it's
hear.
like, oh, I wish.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really do wish.
Oh my goodness. So now that like being a vet assistant, if you could educate pet owners from your
Mhm.
perspective, what's one thing people can be better at as a pet owner?
For me, I would say it's hard. So there's a few different things, especially when it comes to food. I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of right now, especially with like social media, it's really hard to know like exactly what to give your pet, what's right, what's not. Whenever an owner comes in and they're trying to talk to nutrition about, like to me, I definitely, when it comes to like raw diets, a lot of doctors just do not agree with it. You
really?
can give, yeah, you can give raw food, which is fine, but you have to at least still give the nutrients in the kibble and make sure that there's no grain-free kibble because that will lead to liver disease
That's true.
in
I
the
did
long
hear
run.
about that.
Yeah.
I did hear
So
about that.
a lot of people think having grains is bad, but in reality, it's actually good for the pet. So it's just a lot of talks like that that I've seen myself having more on the nutritional aspect.
Okay.
And that's another thing about charter college. The professor I had there, she actually had us do a nutrition course on the Science Diet website that's
Oh,
free
cool.
to people in the field. So she
Yeah.
pretty much like helped us set that up, and you get certified off of it, and you
Oh, that's
are
neat.
more knowledgeable on it. So the doctor doesn't have to always be stuck in the room having the nutritional talk. You could do it for them and help them out so we could like
Okay.
get things quicker. So that's like a big thing too that I feel like
Yeah.
helps
Yeah,
like
I
learning about all these things.
definitely, definitely. And I mean, right? Like they talk about the other thing too is like oral health, right? And like making sure
Oral.
like teeth cleaning.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was bad at it before I got into the field. I did not brush my dog's teeth. I didn't know anything. Now I'm a regular brusher for
Like, get in
them.
here, you gotta brush
I
your teeth.
Now they like it. My pit bull will just sit there and she's just like, all right, my Maltipoo, I still gotta fight with him, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not as
always the
bad.
smaller dogs that don't like
Yes.
having their teeth brushed. But I also think it's because I mean, I feel like they're the toothbrushes are just like so big in their mouths when the
Yeah.
smaller ones, where the big dogs are like,
Well,
whatever.
what's so crazy, it's like now getting into the field, I feel like that's another thing I've been educating owners on. It's just there's a specific website that you could go on to, and you have to make sure that they have the vet seal of approval
Okay.
on certain tooth brands and tooth products. If they have that vet seal of approval, then that is good for dogs. But if you
Okay.
go to Marshalls or something and it doesn't have that, then that's not really a reliable source.
That makes
So I'm
sense.
like, you have to see where you go. You don't have to necessarily go to Petco or PetSmart or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could still go through Amazon, but there's also a website that you could look at all the different products that would be good for the size of dog and everything, and there's like different flavors, and
Oh,
it's really cool. So I'm just like, there's so many things that I'm learning that I didn't even know myself.
I love that. The
Yeah.
little tips and tricks, right?
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, and I honestly apply it to my own dog so I could honestly say that it works,
Okay. Good to
because
know.
I think it's kind of like contradicting if you tell a pet owner to do that and you don't do it
You don't do it
yourself.
yourself.
So that's I'm like, I need to actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably why I never became like a medical assistant, until all these people these healthy like things that you need to do for your
Feel
lifestyle and
that.
then on the flip
Hmm.
end like I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Um, if you were a veterinarian, right, for a famous animal from any movie or TV show, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one. I have no idea. I have never thought of that. I have never thought of that.
It's gonna be something that you're gonna take to work with you and be like, okay, I have a question for you guys.
I know. I'm literally gonna be like asking all my coworkers, like, what would you guys say?
Like I love the movie Beethoven, the big huge Saint
Because I was
Bernard.
thinking that too, but then afterwards, like, I worked
That's
with so
huge.
many Saint Bernards and so
Yeah.
much slobber.
Yes, I agree. That's what I was thinking too. That's
It's
what I was like,
slobber.
I'm like,
No,
I think,
probably the one from Homeward Bound. Like,
okay,
any of those cat
yeah.
dogs.
Didn't they have like
I'm
two
not,
dogs and a cat? Is that what it
yeah,
was?
I was just like,
Yeah.
one of those. I feel like that'd be cool. Sassy, I
Yes.
think it was the cat.
Oh my
I was like, I would
gosh.
work with Sassy.
Yeah, that's fun. I would probably choose like a horse movie just because I love horses. Like I would
Oh,
love to be
you
able to.
do? I'm
Yes.
so, that's what I'm nervous about for my like CVT schooling is working with horses, learning about them. It's like there's a lot
There's a lot. Yeah.
you could only approach them from like the left side. Like there's
Hmm.
just so much things that I was just like I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't walk behind a horse, those type of
Yeah.
things.
Oh yeah. That's like kind of cool. I find them beautiful, but they are kind of intimidating because
Intimidating.
they're so huge.
Yeah,
But they're beautiful.
they are. They're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Well, I just have one last question for you. I guess would be, what advice would you give somebody that was considering going to school for whatever it is, but what advice would you give them in considering charter college as their choice for vocational education?
I would definitely say do it just because the program itself, it's very like fast paced. It's kind of like it's fast paced, but enough like you get enough knowledge in that whole like 5 weeks that you're learning something.
Yeah,
So
because every
the
class is right. A class is every 5 weeks, then you have
yeah,
two new classes or what have you.
yeah. So I feel like it's a fast pace. It's easy to get your degree, and then at the same time, you get in the field with so much knowledge that I don't feel like a lot of places will do that for you. And I feel that it's honestly just a great way to get your foot on the door already.
Yeah,
You could grow pretty fast and learn so much with a small group of people and not have to feel like you're in competition with 20 other people in the classroom to get the teacher's like attention if you don't understand something, you
right.
know?
Because they are smaller sized
Mhm.
classrooms, so like the student population to the instructor is a lot smaller than say a traditional college or university.
Exactly. And I love that about charter college. Like, I love that it's more small and intimate, but then at the same time, when it came to the hands-on portion, you guys did try to incorporate as much as you could into all like our classes, especially for like our vet assistant program. We had like the blood machines there. We had the IV pumps. We had all the kennels. We did have like the treatment tables and how we would put them on there. We had kind of an x-ray room, but it wasn't like a real x-ray room, but they still like did their best to show you like, hey, these are the positions you're going to do. This is like kind of the pedal that you're going to be pressing, but obviously we can't have the real one here because you guys don't have badges or anything. So,
Right.
but this is how you will do it. And it was just like the fake veins, like it was just it helped a lot, I feel like,
Yeah, more
to
so
be
because of the
honest.
hands-on versus like where you're like reading a book and then you're supposed to go out in the real world and do it and you're like,
Exactly. How do I
what?
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was nice to like kind of get input from like our teachers that were in the field. And also, I guess we had like that meeting once where we met with like other people in the field. We
Uh-huh.
got to kind of ask some questions, and it was like I don't know, it was like I felt more prepared and ready. I didn't feel as nervous. I still obviously felt nervous, but it wasn't as bad. And I really loved the course that we had of the business side of it, where they
Okay.
helped us do the our resume and
Hmm.
everything like that. Like that helped me a lot. My
Yeah, it
resume
prepares
stood
you
out
for,
so much,
yeah.
so much.
Did in that class, did you guys do mock interviews?
Did we do what?
Did you guys do mock interviews when you had that class or no?
I can't remember honestly.
Yeah, you're like, I
I'm
can,
like, I think so, but
yeah,
I'm
because I
not.
think some of them
I
do the
think
mock
so,
interviews
yeah.
because they help you write your resume and like tweak
Mhm.
it and all of that, and then kind of do like a mock or simulated interview.
Yeah,
That's, it's only a couple minutes, but it gives you some like an idea of what questions that,
like what questions are gonna
yeah,
be asked and stuff. Yeah, yeah, we did that, and it helped.
yeah.
And the teacher definitely gave us back some feedback for a lot of us. We were like, oh, we could say that. Don't be saying every 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
So it
It's
was.
just when you're nervous, it's just that
I
pops
know. It's
out.
just you're like buffering.
You're right. Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I had a really good time at Charter. That's why when I saw that, I was like, I'll definitely reach out. Like I had a good time.
Good. And I had the pleasure of coming and being at your graduation, so that was like really
Yeah,
exciting for me. I love to be able
yeah,
to travel and go to graduations and just see the excitement on, the students' faces as they're walking across the stage and then seeing their family members and friends just cheering for them. So it
yeah,
was great being able to meet you in person as well as
yes,
meeting with you
I
today. And I
know.
can't wait to hear what your next, how you progress and once you pass that CBT
I know.
certification. So you'll have to keep us updated.
I will. I've been flying through it. It is a lot more different. I wish it was kind of like charter where it's hands-on, but this is more all online. So it
Right.
is all at my own pace, but at least like I'm already in the field, so I know a little bit more. It's just now knowing a little bit more deeper into the field,
Right.
if you
Yeah.
make the
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me and
Yeah,
congratulations on your relocation and working
yeah.
in the field as a vet assistant.
I know. I'm excited. I don't know. I love it.
Good. I'm so glad you love it.
Yeah.